It's just not nice to buy things broken, and you may be better at business than I am.
Have to eat.
Morning everyone. It's Monday. This week is going to be my last week of doing the sort of weekly, I guess you could say, vlogs of me sort of maneuvering my way through ins and outs of running a woodworking company. Just a little brief look at how it goes or how our project goes. I should be finishing up this project, essentially finishing up. They've asked me to do more of it, so it's not going to be completely capped off by the end of this week. And the end of this week is also Easter, so I'll be spending some of that with family. I'm not religious, and my family is not particularly religious either. We just, abide by the holidays that are set out in our country and celebrated throughout the world, I guess. Not anti it in any way. It's also just, sometimes it's nice to have reasons to spend time with your family. The reason I'm finishing it off here is just because I need to be able to take a bit of a break from the content creation and the work. And whatever's coming after this project is not the most fascinating sort of set of work. So I'm going to take a break and pick up again maybe in 2 to 3 weeks after that. So keep an eye out for posts from me. I will probably be doing more specific stuff, a slightly more polished video. We're not going to get over polished and crazy around here just because it's not the kind of content I want to create. I don't want to, at least not yet, maybe someday. When there's a good enough reason, when there's maybe sponsors or Patreons or a decent following here, then I can potentially justify doing highly polished stuff. But for now, we'll do maybe a project video or some tips and tricks or whatever. If you have any ideas of what you'd like to see me do, then shout. Let me know in the comments. Let's hope I don't fuck this up. I'm trying to move this to the table over there on my own, and I'm trying a strange method. Let's hope it works. Success. So I'm having to just clean up all the glue on the joints. You can wash it off with a wet rag as you're doing it, but that sometimes spreads the glue. I find it easier to just knock it off with a chisel than to like resand altogether. This unit has proven to be very problematic. Just the glue up process was challenging, to say the least. After I finished it, I realized how I should have actually glued it up. So now I have a shelf here that doesn't fit properly, so I have to adjust the shelf ever so slightly by about like 2 mils so that it fits flush on either side. I think I spoke about it last week, but during the clamp up process, one of the shelves, one of the verticals, I think moved because of the glue. I had previously had a floating tenon in there, but I removed it because I was having lots of trouble in the gluing process. So, sometimes you make mistakes, sometimes you take shortcuts, sometimes you just do things that result in problems down the line. And this is one of those times. I'm a bit disappointed in myself, but as I also mentioned last week, as you do woodwork, you start to learn good ways to repair. So while you get good at doing things properly, you also get good at making repairs. And I'm not completely immune to mistakes, so I've grown quite good at fixing my mistakes. I'm going to call it there for the day. Not much has been done. I removed the shelf because there was an issue with alignment. I'm going to have to resolve that at some point, but right now I can't really resolve that. My finger joints are nice and smoothed out. Had a slight bit of a gap there, so I filled it. These are the doors over here. Fit there like that, but will be in line with this shelf here. There are my units back there. I cut the backings for them and I cut the backings for that and this one. So yeah, things are coming along. It's just really slow, and I think from being sick for the last week, I'm just struggling to sort of get the good focus and get this done. Good day. It's Tuesday. You can hear and probably see that I'm feeling a bit better. Whoa. There's still a residual sort of cough hanging out, but I'm feeling a bit better. I've bought myself some time with my big projects. I'm just quickly doing some organization. This trolley of mine broke a couple of weeks ago and I just haven't gotten around to fixing it. So I just want to quickly fix it this morning because we're making space for another tool. Exciting stuff. As soon as I have someone to help me move that, I'll show you guys. Now that feels better. Jonah, are you gonna pay me for that? You're gonna pay me for my tool I just bought.
Try not to break it.
Yeah, Jonah broke it as soon as I walked in. It wasn't working.
First thing I did.
First thing he did was break it. And so manpower. How many horsepowers are you?
0.5.
0.5. So you're 0.5 of a horse.
Here we go.
I'm going to try and use this machine now. Unfortunately, it's a real pity that this plate is. I'm really quite sad about that. But I think it's probably still very usable. It's just not nice to buy things broken and know that I now have to confront the seller. I'm not a confrontational guy. Jesus. Fucking hell, man. I've had to move on to doing these, which are for Fane, the restaurant. They're little Mopane route displays for chocolates. They are a big hassle to make. You can see this contraption I have here, but I need to get them done and out of here so that I can move back to the Rubio job and the other job. I've been delaying on this big time because I don't like doing it. Just gonna get it done and out of the way and then head home at hopefully a reasonable hour. This morning, I have to continue with these. I don't know if you can see there. I got these circular flats routed out into them. Excuse my, I'm still recovering. Above and beyond these flats, I need to put in honed holes. It doesn't work very well with this, so I'm going to try and drill an initial hole and then do the rest of the hole with that, and hopefully that'll sort of assist the process. I really don't like doing these. The wood is extremely dark and messy, and it burns because the wood is extremely hard, and it's just like there's nothing. These are difficult to clamp down to get these circular flats put in, so it's a lot of time to do a very small amount of work. I'm not a big organic wood guy, which seems antithetical to wood, but I don't really like dealing with live edges and roots and these sorts of things. I like the squareness of machined wood, but I do think that at some point I'll probably get into trying to make sense of live edge stuff in a way that I like George Nakashima. He does it well, obviously. Hard not to give props to that legend of a man. After this, I have a meeting with an insurance broker. Great. And then a meeting up at the flat that I'm doing the work for to hopefully finalize everything, and then I can come back down here and work my ass off for the rest of the day. Today is mine and Amy's 12th anniversary, and because we're both working so hard, we're not going to celebrate it today. It's a long weekend coming, so we'll celebrate it then. Let's go. So that's what I'm having to deal with.
That doesn't ever happen.
Do the front here now because I did something.
Hey guys, haven't spoken to camera much, haven't spoken much to any of you the last couple of days. Been really trying to push to get this project done just because I had thought I had more time with it, because they've asked for 2 extra units and had initially said that they would take delivery of all of them at the same time, with the understanding that those other 2 would only be done in, say, a month's time. And so I was focusing on other work this week, which was a mistake. I should have been focusing on this because I may have been done by now then. So I'm going to have to work through Easter weekend, which is very unfortunate. I'm going to go see family on Sunday at least. So the public holiday tomorrow I'll work, Saturday I'll probably work, and then Sunday I'll take off, and Monday, which is family day, I'll work again. This video is probably going to overlap into next week because I want to make sure that I finish this video with these finished. So I'll show you that for the next few days. I'll very sporadically video record just because I want to get this done. And hopefully, if I do manage to find time, I might be able to take Monday off, but I highly doubt it at this point. Good luck to all my other fellow business owners out there. If you're also working through this weekend, good for you. Heidi. Got some tubby custard in there. If it wasn't clear, this is Rubio smoke, 5%. This could be maybe a little work. So, just a heads up to those of you wanting to pursue your dreams in a career that isn't working for someone else. Do it. It's great, it's rewarding. But just be prepared for working on the floor on a Saturday afternoon over Easter weekend while everyone else is having a nice time eating and drinking and being merry. You may be better at business than I am and manage to not have to do this, but you may also end up in my position. So just a heads up. Again, it's not the worst thing that I could be doing right now, but I'd far rather be hanging out with my family and eating, drinking, and being merry. Every part of this job has been a mammoth task. Still have 2 more to do. I've got to figure out some faster ways to do this. So hopefully I can plan it a little better. I'm going to probably go home now after I do the hinges on these doors and wire up all the wiring that needs to go through all of these things. They want a fairly complex arrangement of plugs and ports for various things, for the lights that are here and for other connections, and they all need to connect to each other or separately. So lucky for them, I'm an unqualified electrician. Okay, shoes are back on. Time to work. I really hope this doesn't take me too long. I have a jig that I use for this kind of work. See if I can find it now. Dit is! Who's there? There's an assault on my vehicle. Oh my god! Oh my goodness.
Happy Easter.
A weekend away in Toronto.
Hey everyone, it's Wednesday. I've now been filming for half a week, more than I would usually. I've tried to film less just because the processes that I'm going through right now are not like visually stimulating or very easy to film because of how occupied the space is. But that doesn't really matter. I'm currently boxing off these units. I'm gonna have to sand this ugly burnt stuff down. The wiring is all in, the lights are all working. I'll show you guys that in a little moment. And we're getting there. I think everything's fine. There's always a part of me that worries that when they arrive they'll be damaged or there'll be something that the guys really don't like. You know, the standard job anxieties. I'm at this point desperately needing to move on to other work. I think I've been saying that for 3 weeks. So today is quite frankly my last day of like doing physical work on these things. I might do small things here and there tomorrow. I'm still waiting on a magnet delivery for the cupboard unit, so that's holding me back a little bit and might have to be done tomorrow. So there's that. But Josh is coming tomorrow. We're gonna wrap this all up and hopefully it'll be out of my face, out of my mind, out of everything. The issue then is that I still have to build 2 more of the other units, the less complicated units. And on top of that, I have to build a cash desk, a large cash desk, and also outfit an entire flat. Wish me luck. I also don't really know where to start today, because there are lots of small jobs. No. It's time to check if everything fits together. Quite late in the game to be doing that, but I haven't really had a choice. Luckily Dan isn't here. Not luckily, it's nice when Dan is here, but luckily for my sake, I can set this all up in a line here now. It's probably the only spot in the shop that it can fit. Whew, this is going to be tough on my own though. Going to be very tough on my own. Do I do it? Might need a battery in there, huh? Okay. So can't say I like that very much. Issue is also that because there's a bunch of material there, it causes it to sit out and not sit flush, which is disappointing considering these are all nice and flush. These are all working just fine now. Hey, if it's just never ending. These are all sorted. It's just so goddamn difficult to get these channels in. That's tomorrow's issue.
Shoot him. Shoot him. Come. Come. Yeah, that's a good girl.
Whoa.
Whoa, you're getting a bit more risky. Hey? Hey? Why is it all puffy? Why is your tail all puffy? Come. Come.
Pity I can't like get a good shot of this in this space. Yeah, like unfortunately that's not a possibility. Okay. This job broke the hell out of me. I don't think I've done a job that's been as physically like laborious on my hands. My hands are struggling to come back to life. There's calluses, raw spots, pink skin that is almost down to bleeding. So it was pretty mean. It was a big learning experience. It's also been financially quite difficult, I'll be honest. I charged a lot for them and it's enough, but I think because I'm doing them on my own, that makes a big difference. Because if you were someone that had a few employees and got it done in half the time that I did, then it might work out better, but I also don't think it would because you'd have employees to pay. So who knows? Maybe I'm just really shit at spending money. There wasn't much waste. There's actually very little waste, which is great. It's good to know that I'm developing in my skills with regards to like ordering and knowing exactly how much to order, with accounting waste and all that sort of stuff. Thank you very much for watching this process. This whole thing has been kind of an experiment for me to see whether or not I'm able to keep up with editing and working, and it's been difficult. You'll see this video is probably only going to be out in another week at the very soonest, and yeah, from there I'm going to do more specific videos, but they'll come less frequently. I don't think it's good or even necessary to do it the way I have been doing it, because there are a few of you who really like it, but it's just like if you weigh it up, like the amount of time I spend doing it versus what I get out of it is nothing, other than like knowing that I'm slowly building an audience. But you have to play the algorithm and try and build an audience faster than what I'm doing, so who knows. If you have any suggestions of videos you'd like to see that are relatively simple, I can't take on extremely complicated stuff at the moment just because I have to work and do video content. So the stuff that I do video wise has to either be within line of what I'm making or relatively simple. So please make some suggestions and wish me luck in these getting transported up to Joburg.